What's up everybody, it's your boy French Cooking. Welcome back to the channel, and this is how to make beats for free, episode 16. Today's free VST is another one from Yuhi.
Another one.
And this one's called Triple Cheese. Just how I like my burgers, baby. Extra pickles too, motherfucker. This one has a special place in my heart. I've used it in so many of my beats because it has over 250 presets and each one of them is fire. Exactly 4 weeks ago, Tory Lanez dropped an album while serving a 10-year prison sentence. Check out Tory looking all swole up there, man. Okay, Tory, I see you, baby. I don't know how he did it. Apparently they have Pro Tools in jail now, so I'm impressed, but this is not my favorite type of Tory. Personally, I like that mixtape rapping type of Tory, like in New Toronto 3. Oh my god. Since Triple Cheese has like these luscious brass presets and flutes and all that type of stuff, I figured I could make like a medieval sounding beat that I can see Tory rapping on. So I have this brass preset pulled up in Triple Cheese. And what I'm thinking is I'm gonna make like a long extended chord here, and then I'm gonna leave this bar open to do some stabs, and then another long extended chord here, and then stabs here. You get the idea. So I'm starting in E minor, and I just made an E minor triad. I'm gonna add a high note here. Matter of fact, let me try going up one octave. I like that better. Now, normally at this point, what I would do is I would take the root note and I would duplicate it down one octave. But since this is brass and I want it to sound as full as possible, I'm actually going to take all three of these chords and pull them down an octave. I played with the velocities a little bit, and like I said, I left the next bar open for some stabs, and then my next chord, I brought it down to C. This is the brass melody I ended up with. I just duplicated everything here, except I switched it up a little bit at the end. I brought a note up and added 2 stabs instead of one chord like this. I also threw some reverb on it as always. I put wider on it for some stereo separation. And finally an EQ to cut out the lows and bring out a little bit of presence in the low mids right here. Found this pad called Emotive Pad, which is perfect because I really want to bring out the emotion in this melody. So literally just copied the same chords into this. This flute preset, the Passion Flute preset in Triple Cheese, is one of my favorite flutes. So I'm going to go ahead and record in a counter melody for the chorus. Something like that. Just fix the timing a little bit. One last little touch. I wanted to find an accent that's kind of like a string, but not a string because I use strings in every single beat that I make. So I was doom scrolling through my presets here and I found this one bass. Typical pulsating bass, but if I go way up high in the keyboard, kind of has like a string feel to it, so I want to see how that sounds. Now comes the fun part. Yeah, here's the 808 pattern that I laid down, pretty basic. The most important thing to note is that I followed the root note of my brass melody. And just like last time, for my higher 808 notes, I bring down the velocity so they're not too harsh. There's a lot going on there in the chorus, which is great because it's going to give the beat a lot of energy. But Tory Lanez is a melodic rapper, so he needs a lot of space to do his thing in the verse section. So what I'm going to do is I pulled up this synth that I'm going to use as kind of like a pad, which is a more simple version of the brass melody that I laid down. And I'm also going to apply on the filter on the brass so that it's a lot lower and it's still there, it's still present, but there's a lot more room for the vocals in the verse. Like I said, I copied the exact same chords from the brass, but I added a little bit of variation here and there, and I took out the stabs to make it a little bit more simple. I had to pull up another instance of TripleCheese just to show you how much I use this plugin. I'm on the space piano preset, and I laid down like a bell melody, which I'm going to bring in the second half of the verse. Magic switch on there for some chorus, by the way, but no reverb needed. Okay, now back to what I was saying about the brass, about putting a filter on the brass. I have the air filter pulled up here, and watch what happens when I pull down the cutoff knob. Okay, so that's going to leave a lot more room for a rapper like Tory to rap on the verse. Now, how do you do this for just one section of the beat? I like to use the record function to record automation within MPC Beats. So let me show you what that looks like. First thing I have to do is press the record button. And then I go up all the way up here to the top right, and where it says global automation, instead of red, I'm going to click it and it's going to turn it to right. So now whatever changes I make to my effects plugins within MPC Beats, the automation tool is going to capture that. Watch what happens to the automation bar below once I press the play button and I start playing around with the cutoff knob. So now if I pull this up, and I'm going to change this back to read so I don't mess anything up. If I pull this up, the last frequency was at 68. So 68 is the value that we're looking for. Right now it's going down progressively, but I want the filter effect to be applied right away when the verse starts. So with the number 68 in mind, I can just erase all of this like so, and take it here at the beginning and bring it down to 68. Okay. And then make sure at the end of the verse, okay, we put another dot here, and then we bring it back up to 127, so there's going to be no filter applied whatsoever. And just to give you like a quick demonstration, I'm going to pull this all the way down to, let's say, 11, and then this all the way back to 127, so you can see what happens in the filter tool. It goes down, and then go all the way up. That about does it for today. I'm going to go ahead and arrange the beat and let you listen to it at the end. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate it. If you could follow my Instagram, sub to my channel, leave a comment if you need help with anything you need. I'd appreciate that even more. This has been your boy French Cooking, and I'll see you next week for another video. Peace out. Told you I was going to go for a medieval theme. A lot less energy in the verse, but this is where you can really do your thing. You can let your vocals shine, and then the energy will build up for the chorus.